slight change of plans today. So there is a time and a day of the week that this place is closed. Today is that day. So gonna call an audible. Gonna go take a look at a historical site today that's pretty close by. Now I'm gonna be fully transparent with you, since this is kind of a mulligan and I'm pulling an audible here. I'm not gonna have a lot of the information that I normally try to have on these little trips. We'll be experiencing it together. So stick around, let's see what this is all about. Good afternoon, everybody. Bo here, YankiRides. Like I said in the beginning, kind of pulling an audible here. Place that I was going to go today apparently has hours of operations that I did not see posted anywhere. So we're going to have to put that aside for another day. So I scrambled and I found a place close by that sounded pretty interesting. It's the Etowah Indian Mounds. Now I don't know much about it. What I'll probably end up doing when I get there is see if I can find some information and we can learn together. But you know, I'm out here in North Georgia. It's nice and quiet, a little bit chilly, so I figure why waste the day. Let's go check something out that wasn't on my list. Got about 9 miles to go, so it's a lot of traveling just for nothing. So let's hope this doesn't suck.
Hey guys, real quick, you'll notice there's some links down there in the description. Those are affiliate links for Amazon. That list will be growing. It's a way for you guys to be able to support if you choose. It gives me a little kickback. No extra cost to use if you use those links. So check the description. I got a couple of things in there now, and like I said, the list will grow, and hopefully soon there'll be some other affiliates down there as well. You don't have to support with money. Just liking the video and sharing and commenting and stuff, interacting with me is enough, but that is a good way to help. They're down in the description for you. All right, let's get into this video because this is kind of a shit show, but we're gonna make the best of it.
All right, before we get there, I'd like to kind of set a foundation. In the 3 or 4 years I've been involved with content creation, I've mentioned several times the kind of relationship I have with American history, and that is, one, I was woefully uneducated on the actual history of the United States and what we have done to indigenous people, people of color. It wasn't until I was adult when I started learning things that were kind of eye-opening, and for a while I was very resentful at that, and I didn't want to participate in the systems that were involved, and that meant not going to places and saying things. I think I've talked about this before, even on this channel, is that as an adult I have become more in tune with that and being able to separate the kind of tragic history of Americans towards non-Americans and the beauty and serenity of some of these amazing places. And it gives me an opportunity to hear what people are saying about those places and those things, and then do my due diligence and research those things to see where the hiccups are and see if we're actually being honest now about those historical events. So when I go to places like this, it's more exploratory and kind of information gathering. I want to find out more about these places and about what they represent and what their actual histories are. So I don't know what to expect or how it's going to be presented. When I go to places like that, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at like how is these things being portrayed? What can I learn from them? And most importantly, it's just to kind of further your knowledge about the events of our country and the history of our country, and this is going to be part of it. Now, I don't know if these mounds were as a result of any sort of battles or anything, or if it's you know, if it's of our doing or their doing, and that's one of the main things I want to find out. But I just wanted to kind of put that little footnote in there because we are going to a place that kind of it's unsettling for me as I get older and realize how much of the education system has failed me going into my adulthood. So there's the caveat, the footnote. the asterisks on that one. We're going to be sitting here waiting on this train in this beautiful little downtown area. This is really nice. And then we've got a couple more miles. We're there, so we'll check back in when we get there. Cool spot. Here we go. We are here. Archaeological Museum. Well, we'll see if this is something or nothing. Alright guys, well here we go.
Okay, so before we go in there, we're going to read a little bit about the Etowah Indian Mounds. Apparently they were first created 1,000 years ago. Basically a burial site of artifacts, bodies, and insight into the way that what they're calling an ancient culture lived. There's 6 plateaus, different phases down the centuries, creating a sort of kind of a deposit of all the cultural artifacts. Kind of shows how they lived on the site and how they evolved over that period of time. Apparently the Mississippians, despite being located in Georgia, this was their central metropolis that sat in this area. So they used the man-made hills both for burial purposes and as raised platforms to the homes of their elders and respected leaders. By the time what many consider to be the traditional Native American culture dominated the land, the Mississippians had long since abandoned this site. Weapons, tools, traditional dress, domestic items have been dug out of these mounds by archaeologists, and according to the state website, that is all after only around 9% of the site has been explored. Etowah may provide, from what they're saying, the clearest view of ancient American people who are generally remembered only in name. Pretty cool. It's pretty cheap to get in. It's like $6 plus tax. And if the gates are open, then you can come in, and I imagine you pay when you get inside. So we're gonna go check that out. All right, and so kind of a no-duh situation. Apparently this whole village was built right next to a water source that served 2 functions, agricultural and defensive. The Mississippians, apparently, I was talking to the guy at the front desk, and he's like, you know, the Mississippians, it was a culture more than a location, but it was like massive amounts of corn and wheat and stuff being farmed, lots of agriculture, and that's how this whole society kind of grew, and then how they started kind of delineating between the upper and the lower class. The first mound that we're going to go check out, which is apparently what's the equivalent of a governor, the leader of the group. His house was built on this hill higher than everybody else's, and then when he died, everything was burned, a layer of dirt was put on top, and the next person in line, which was on the mother's side, and on top of that new fresh mound, his house would be built. So that's how these things became larger and larger, and why there were so many things inside the hill. They were buried there, their stuff was burned and buried there, and then the next person is just right on top. Pretty cool, pretty fascinating. Like, we're in the thick of it, dude. All right, let's go check out this first mound. Here, there's like very little up here. I don't know what I was expecting, but it's literally just grass, and just large enough for what I assume a home would be. And I don't see any like indication there's just literally anything here. But you have a nice view of the river over there. This is one of the smaller hills. So we have the largest hill right here, and it looks like the one that we're standing on right now is the second largest, and then there's that little guy. We'll go check the information on it. all of this would have been little huts and stuff and little farmland. And like I said, these mounds would have been the elders or the leaders. And again, each time they passed away, buried, all their stuff burnt, and then a layer of dirt on top of it, and the next home built on top of that. So these mounds were literally designed that way, like intentionally. Saying that it was the Muskogee people at large, Mississippians. I'm gonna have to look at some of that information because I don't know enough about like what they're calling the Mississippian. But yeah, let's go check out the big one. It's a bit of a hike, so. Apparently that structure was more of a meeting place, and the reason it's not as large is because it wasn't like a cornerstone of the village. So there were a couple iterations of that building, and each time, again, it was burned and built on top of. They have little signs and stuff showing you kind of the configuration from all the archaeological digs of like the post locations and kind of the structure, like what it would have probably looked like. This one, it's going to be a bit of a hike though. This is the Mound A. It's the largest one, and this is where the chief would have been chiefdom. So prepare to sweat. Isn't a lot higher than it looks when you're down there. More like graded land. I assume they had like perimeter walls and stuff all set up. So again, this would be where the chief, for lack of a better word, would live. It is nice to know that none of this had anything to do with colonization, and this is just how they lived. That's pretty fascinating. That's probably why it's overlooked a lot. But it's nice to know that this is just a glimpse at, you know, people of this land lived, and they had long left before any of this area started getting kind of taken over. So this is just literally a historical site and a glimpse into their kind of past, which is a nice change of pace. So now we gotta descend. We're gonna go over to that river, which is over that way. Okay, behind me is the Etowah River. This has been the lifeblood of their village, agriculture being the #1 thing to help a community grow and thrive. Like, you couldn't go down to the grocery store, so food was where it was at. If you could make the food, you could thrive. And apparently in this case, create a second class of citizens above the rest. Like I said, it is nice to hear the stories of places like this that don't end in absolute tragedy. They just existed, lived, and then moved on, and this is what we're left with. So it's pretty cool. It's a couple of little spots I'm going to check out, and then we'll head back. Alright guys, we'll round this out on the smallest of the hills. Apparently this one was, they call it a ceremonial mortuary, which is macabre, but it was a building where they had rituals and stuff like that, and kind of situated behind the two larger mounds. I didn't know that there was like a little terrace that went up on that one. That's cool. At any rate, this was a fun little kind of mulligan. Like I said, didn't plan on coming here, at least not today. This was on the list of places, but when life gives you closed junkyards, make lemonade? I don't know. But it's fun, and it's $6, so well worth it. I'll put a link to their site if you want to learn more. Come see it, celebrate it. Sorry about the wind. I am on top of a mound. If you like this, please do show it by hitting the like button. Sharing, subscribing, all that stuff helps, and it is one of the best ways to help promote the content so I can keep doing it. Stay tuned next week. Got a special one. I'm not going to be on the bike, but the wife will be with me. stay tuned for that one. Sub, so you don't miss it. We're gonna go. She's been wanting to go on one of these with me, so we're gonna check out something special next week. Until next time, guys. Be safe, be kind. I'll see you next time. Bye.